you are doing well, and you're not just three robots. Some robots. Fresh, unboiled milk. The only way to be pregnant.
It's the best way, at least.
Yeah. The only good way.
I would agree with that.
This up. Well, I have this over here. Whoops.
Did you want this too, so in case there's something you can't?
I can reach over.
Okay.
I'm good with the reach around.
Testify!
Because I got scarily long arms. Come on, where's my left hand, stupid?
You're spinning in the wrong direction. What's up?
Yeah.
Alright.
Think that sounds good? Do I?
Yeah, it was at minus 20 last time.
Oh, okay.
So, I think that's alright.
Bam.
Bam. We got the pie chart up. The pie diagram.
By diagram. By die.
Because we are trying to figure out all the influences on Winston. Because we're reading 1980.
6?
7?
12?
1980 cat. Oh yeah, sorry, 1984. The dystopian future, which is now.
The way that we... Damn, it's gonna be hard to do present stuff being stuck in my head all day. We're ready to go, right?
Yeah.
We are charting Winston in the world that he exists in the world that everyone exists in. His follows ours, right? There's not really much ridiculousness going on.
No. They don't have... It's not ridiculous fantasy. There's not dragons or technology that doesn't...
I bet we could still put it in, though, the chart. I would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can I have the one note?
Nope. Now you can.
Okay. Let me see where my pen is. Boop, right there. So, we're gonna explain some of the craziness of this chart that kind of looks stupid, but also kind of looks like an electron.
Yeah, do a review of last time.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So, Winston is at the center of his universe because everything is at the center. Oh, because everyone is at the center of their own universe. Can't even read my own freaking handwriting. An individual's universe is equal parts their outside world and their inside world. Inside world, this one right over here, is where only the mind of the individual exists. No physical objects or bodies or matter exists in the inside world. but it's composed of physical matter and exists within a physical body.
There's nothing that makes up the dragons that are in my brain?
No, just imagination. The power of imagination, which you obtain from the power of understanding your past and your present, even in the simplest terms. Like, I will go to sleep and I will wake up and need food. Outside world is where an individual uses their inside world to interact with the outside world, using their outside world faculties like senses and speech. Past, present, and future are three parts of the same force. Right here is past, here is present, same color, but there's future. And it's all one directional. It all moves into the future. Nothing moves forward into the past. Right here, the past is only available through memories, stories of memories, or data point collections. The likelihood of any of it painting a clear picture diminishes as the myriad of interferences increases. And there's lots of interferences in George's life, Winston's life. There are interferences with his ability to gain his own energy through understanding the world with his own eyes. Everything is told to him for him, but there's hope because he doesn't just give in to it.
No.
Interferences are prevented by the force of free will that comes from the self in the present. That's the actions that you do, the thoughts that you have, and the decisions that you make. The Trevormore, one uses the past to understand the self, and I wish I just wrote freaking what I should have. The more one uses the past to understand the self, and the self to understand the past, the Lucy Law less, the past is used to define the self, and the less, the self is used to define the past.
So I'm not my hurt?
No, you're not your hurt.
Or I'm not my grandparents' hurt? I'm not...
No, you're the understanding of the action and reaction. Or you can be, at least, or you can keep bombing people because of something that bothered you 1,000 years ago. The future allows the individual to shape it, only restricted by the order of the universe. What was that word? Magnetization? Magnets. Magnetism, energy, time. We don't get to control what those things are initially. We can only control what we do around those things. The future has no ill will against us. The only ones who make the future bad are the ones who try to take the future from others for themselves. Lazy and stupid men, followed by lazy and stupid women. And they're all playing the same war games from the past. The demi-more you live in the past, the Michael Douglas sense one has of the meaning of life. You need sense to find meaning, and you have to work for sense. Lots of people work, just not for the right reason. Winston, he in 1984 people dig holes to fill them back up. He works for
the records department. He changes
history. So, do you think that we should maybe say some of the things that are in this present that affects him? And I wish it was easier now that we're using OneNote. Okay. Where? Come on. It's right there. Great.
You got the button.
Undo. Okay. How do I turn this, put this down a little bit? Do I have to just use the hand tool?
Yeah.
Bam. Okay. So, outside influences on Winston. There's posters everywhere, right?
Yeah.
There's the
That watch.
whoop, telescreen. Do the posters watch too?
Well, at least they say they're watching.
Oh, yeah, Big Brother's watching. There's... Come on, it's always moving. That looks freaking horrible! Okay. Where is it? Right there. Blah, blah, blah. Fear of death. If you don't do what they say,
They'll vaporize
they'll
you.
vaporize you.
Not only will you die, they'll erase you from reality. The record of you from reality. And change people's brains.
Yeah.
No one will remember you.
They take the meaning of words away. They say truth is mini-true because the truth only comes from the Ministry of Truth.
War is peace.
Mm-hmm. And then how he influences himself, he bought a book. And that book helped him learn measurements in a round. He learned angles, right? He used math. Where is it? Used math to protect himself, right?
Yeah.
How did he do that?
He learned the angles of the telescreen and where its viewing angles are, and he went to a place where there was a section of his apartment, his shitty little apartment, that the telescreen couldn't see.
And he thought that book was pretty.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be told by anybody what he likes and dislikes. Also, he tried to write. Right?
Yeah.
Tried to write. But he couldn't get a lot of his
Coherent thoughts out.
Because maybe all he knows right now is there's a down with Big Brother thought in his head that they take from him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know how it influences him or like what is
all the ways that Big Brother has a grip on him.
Because he enjoyed that video of the little kid getting shot up.
Yeah.
What else? Are we missing something? He met Julia. He saw the 2-minute hate. He involved himself in the 2-minute hate. Alright, so apparently it's just not gonna work. 2-minute hate. That's where he fell in love with O'Brien.
You got the man crush on O'Brien.
He got the man crush on O'Brien. And he hated Julia because he knows that she works for the same industry that he does. But he wanted to violently have sex with her. I guess as a way, because he can have power over a woman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for that dang leg, that dang ankle, he could have beat the crap out of her and took her for himself. Ugh. Sorry. I guess that should be Okay, right? We left off where he was coming out of the 2 minutes of hate.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd been writing in the book, he remembered memories which made other memories.
Yeah, he started working on himself to gain some sort of semblance of self. Trying to flip his energies around or whatever. What were we talking about? So can you help me say the math words for this? There's
like the electromotive force we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. His force is going in the opposite direction. It's not going towards.
Well, out of everyone there.
Oh, his is much closer.
If we were to talk about anybody else, maybe except for Julia, they would be closed off. Yeah. Their force lines, their from and against free will would be tightened off.
Yeah. They don't got much choice. They don't have a good understanding of self. So they don't understand.
They don't get any self.
Yeah, it's all stripped of them. They are molded to not have a self other than love Big Brother. Whatever Big Brother says goes. And with that mindset, if person telling you is controlling you says this shit doesn't happen on the outside, then you don't understand the outside world.
There's some he could, but he didn't get a lot of chances.
Yeah. Lots of consequences of death.
Yeah. And in the world now, what about the world now?
It's not always death, but you have thoughts, you have unpopular opinions, you don't want to be controlled, you are hurt in various ways. Voice gets taken away, sometimes you get killed.
The louder your voice is in the reality that we're in now, the more likely you are gonna get shot.
Someone will want it. Especially if what you have to say it takes away their power.
Yeah. But what's gonna happen with all this ADL stuff now? People are finally waking up to the corruption of organizations. And it's not just them. It's every single organization. Not a single one of them doesn't have a twisted intention that goes against what they say.
Because they're trying to control you for some reason, some aspect.
They're trying to tell you something. They're trying to tell us something. They're trying to make something a fact with no proof. Just look at how much money we have. Look who backs us. We are the world. We are the Zionists. Okay.
Shall we start reading, wife?
I think so.
Okay. Alright. Chapter 2. As he put his hand to the doorknob, Winston saw that he had left the diary open on the table. "Down with Big Brother" was written all over it, and letters almost as big enough to be legible across the room. It was an inconceivably stupid thing to have done. But, he realized, even in his panic, he had not wanted to smudge the creamy paper by shutting the book while the ink was wet. He drew in his breath and opened the door. Instantly, a warm wave of relief flowed through him. A colorless, crushed-looking woman with wispy hair and a lined face was standing outside. "Oh, comrade," she began in a dreary, whining sort of voice. "I thought I heard you come in. Do you think you could come across and have a look at our kitchen sink? It's got blocked up and..." It was Mrs. Parsons, the wife of a neighbor on the same floor. Mrs. was a word somewhat discountenanced by the party. You were supposed to call everyone comrade, but with some women, one used it instinctively.
Oops. Instinctively?
Yeah.
So there's an instinctive respect or something for...
Maybe because he grew up knowing Mrs. and Messrs. A life outside of the Big Brotherdom.
Yeah. I wonder if that gets you in jail, in prison.
Does Julia have that? I don't know. She is younger.
Oh, the desire to call somebody...
Yeah. Would that be in her instincts to call someone Mrs.?
Probably not, no.
She was a woman of about 30, but looking much older. One had impressions that there was dust in the creases of her face.
We got a message.
Oh, what's going on?
What exactly is the agenda here?
Well, we're going to do some reading and...
That's not exactly an agenda, that's just an action. We're relating 1984 to now. Right?
Yeah.
What else?
And we're seeing where it has similarities and differences in what we do and what affects us.
And what we do is move forward in time. Right?
Yeah.
This is kind of a representation of the benefits of moving forward in time. We created a diagram that sections off 4 distinct forces in an individual's life.
And these forces are what mold who you are and your understanding of things.
And also molds perhaps our future, because this pattern wasn't always recognizable. There was a different need for protection 800 years ago. There was a different need to fight for your country or fight for some king or something. But right now, we are at an advantage where we can make up our own decisions because the powers that be are real freaking far away. You're staring at me and you're making me nervous, and I'm trying.
Sorry, wife.
They're stupid. The powers that be on us are stupid, and we can reflect that stupidity inside of ourselves and see how whatever they're trying to do can be done better. Because the time for the law of man is soon to crumble.
Yeah.
It's all stupid and it's all greedy and it's all bad.
It's a destruction.
And this is a diagram that shows self-control. What the benefits of self-control is, what goes into self-control, and what hinders self-control. The end. I think.
Yeah.
Does all of that make sense? I know you said makes sense a while ago, so.
Alright, I'm going to pick back up here.
Okay.
Winston followed her down the passage. These amateur repair jobs were an almost daily irritation. Victory mansions were old flats, built in 1930 or thereabouts, and were falling to pieces. The plaster flaked constantly from ceilings and walls, the pipes burst in every hard frost, the roof leaked whenever there was snow, the heating system was usually running at half steam when it was not closed down altogether from motives of economy. Repairs, except for when you could do it for yourself.
How does this relate to the human understanding of psychology, do you think? we're still trying to adapt to the live streaming, and talking on the fly with anyone but each other is still something we're working on. But there is, I think, human psychology is the understanding of a person outside of their circumstances. Freud projected his own things, I'm sure, and everybody projects their own things. I went to community college, and anybody who was in Psychology 101 was just there to learn what's wrong with them, including me. But psychology is, what's the word when people, they don't use, they put a lot of themselves, a lot of opinion, a lot of conjecture.
Yeah, they're very biased.
Yeah, there's a lot of biases in psychology that don't get recognized because they don't put it into something scientifical. They put it into, which a scientifical thing is putting the order of the universe first before the order of man. Come to find out, the order of man has a lot to do with the problems in our brains. There's a lot of hurt that develops on account of other people. And those other people, they have the power sometimes to just explain it away. Instead of, hey, what's up with autism? What's up with depression? Why are all these people killing themselves? They ask for a lot of money and they do a bunch of research, but they're not doing any of that.
And it's so fragmented. It never takes everything into consideration.
Yeah. We're trying to take this stuff into consideration. And what I've noticed, the connecting factor is everyone's hurt. And a lot of the times when people are hurt, mostly they get angry. And that anger, instead of it being, anger is not a language that can be empathized with and understood as well as, because if somebody has a gun to your head, I'm not gonna be like, I'm sorry you were abused as a child, but don't kill me, you know? But there is an objective way to look at people that the more the objectivity is replaced by conjecture, anecdotal evidence, or what people say when they're sitting at a psychologist's desk or whatever.
They have the same kind of problem that everybody else does. Is psychologists define what is without understanding what is.
Yeah. Carl Jung certainly didn't know what is. He couldn't, because he wrote so much about exploring his own mind, exploring this fantasy, and he went backwards because he put the order of man before the order of the universe. I would like you to say all the things you want to say and ask all the questions too, because if there needs to be communication, there needs to be understanding, and we're still learning how to communicate with everybody.
Discourse makes everything better.
Yeah. If we don't stop to ask a question, how does anybody follow even what we're saying? What do you mean by Trevor Moore and Demi Moore? Tom Sizemore. Tom Askmore.
Why is the future so green?
Lost where you are?
Yeah, lost where I was. I was closed down altogether due for motives of economy. Repairs, except for what you could do yourself, had to be sanctioned by remote committees which were liable to hold up even the mending of a window pane for 2 years.
Oh, what is that called? Red tape?
Yeah, bureaucracy.
Red tape, bureaucracy causes suicide. It constricts the self, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is a form of thing that all is meant to do is control.
Yeah, and it comes from however many people over how many periods of time that it just piles and piles and piles. And since everybody wants what they want, and what they want isn't good and orderly. But we had to learn this stuff first. We can't just say all of these things are bad, because we wouldn't know they were bad unless somebody did it. But now is the perfect time to know and cut it out. Why do you need to go, what are some of the stupid things we got to do to survive? 8,000 years of paperwork just to start your own business so that they know who you are. They know. I think the level of visibility of a person to an opponent will, even if you don't know the government is against you, even if you have no idea, it will still tear you apart. Before you even know what the problem is, it'll tear you apart. If you're angry, there's a reason. If there's a better way to do everything, and to think that anybody has your best interest in mind is a mistake. So it's someone like the government. That's why we get rid of that shit slowly, little by little. Give people the chance to regain their own control. Give them the chance to make mistakes. Give them the chance to do nasty things and smarten people up to that. Nobody's gonna go get gross milk if we're all aware of what good milk is.
Yeah.
But right now, all that red tape, all that tippy tapping around, everything that is bought in Walmart is, they've all signed those papers. They all did the things that needed to be done so that they can participate in commerce. And yet they have the worst products. And it's devastating now at this point. Everything tastes like crap. Everything looks like crap. And it's because the people who want to do things, they want to dedicate their time to the creation of things, can't. Because they have to worry about lawyers and worry about this and that. It's so stupid. The current understanding of psychology. Why is this not far enough so I can read all of it? The current understanding of psychology does follow the scientific method, but that's not to say it's flawless. I wonder, though, what part of the scientific method they could use besides just grouping people into things. A lot of the scientific method, when they find an error, they just say, well, we'll just leave it for now. And then the thing that is most popular gets popularized. Say, like Stephen Hawking with all his theories of this and that. A lot of it, people say lots of things against it. But because he is the figurehead, he's supposedly the word of science god.
Even back in Newton days, if nobody liked your theory, the Scientific Academy would reject your stuff, and it wouldn't consider that line of thinking, and you would be shunned for thinking like that.
Yeah, it's not so much because science is how we observe rates of change before we can put numbers to them. The science is outside of human. And here in my silly little chart, the past and the present, maybe I should have wrote it down. This is people, present, and people, past. They have had negative influences on a lot of things. People, obviously. There's also been good things. However, we've got them all mixed up, and we have to use our own reason and our own observational skills and our ability to spot contradictions to know what is true and what's not, as opposed to trusting the people who overlord over science. 20 years from now, his work will be held, hopefully. There are some things that they still do that we're like, I can't believe the way that they glorify pi, for instance. Just Euclid going, gee, I wonder how many dots I could make around the circumference of an area. And that's pi, right? But they still use it for these huge mathematical things that then we get imaginary numbers where they're like, well, there's kind of like this weird differential we don't understand, but let's just keep flying planes and blasting off. Looks like Team Rocket's blasting off again with a whole lot of fuel for no reason.
A whole lot of stupid.
I think the problem is that there is a wrong direction. All we need to do right now is separate man from the rest of the universe to see where man tries to pretend to be the control of the universe when he's not. Everything else gets to stay, you know? How light bends, you know, what are some of the things that they do? Calculus? the observation of, you know, watching something in the sky rotate around something else shows that that planet isn't flat, or, you know?
Yeah, watching how light bends and
doing experiments in your own house with children that doesn't involve weird stuff. Whatever.
Learn how to ferment.
I learned so much about the body from just fermenting foods. And it made me really ticked off that they use antibacterial things, they have these, what do they call the pills that you take when you have an infection?
Antibiotics.
Antibiotics. They take all of the good biotics out of food. They boil everything in the name of cleansing it, but it's making everything worse.
It destroys the nutrients, and it destroys the nutrients' shape in a way that it can't be absorbed into the body.
And those little thingies that live and stuff that digest for us. It's not just our digestive system that digests. It's also the bacteria that we
harbor in our bodies.
Yeah. And when they take all of that out, they kill everything. They're killing us. I think man's intention has always been bad. That's
right,
really what it comes down to.
Right, brothers. You mean more like wrong, brothers.
Wrong, brothers. Am I right, 9/11?
Of course, it's only because Tom isn't home, said Mrs. Parsons vaguely. The Parsonage flat was bigger than Winston's, and dingy in a different way. Everything had a battered, trampled-on look, as though the place had just been visited by some large, violent animal. Games, impedimenta, hockey sticks, boxing gloves, a burst football, a pair of sweaty shorts turned inside out, lay all over the floor. And on the table there was a litter of dirty dishes and a dog-eared exercise book. On the walls were scarlet banners of the Youth League and the Spies, and a full-size poster of Big Brother. There was the usual boiled cabbage smell, common to the whole building, but it was shot through by a sharper reek of sweat, which one knew this at first sniff, though it was hard to say how. It was the sweat of some person not present at the moment. In another room, someone with a comb and a piece of toilet paper was trying to keep tune with the military music, which was still issuing from the telescreen. "It's the children," said Mrs. Parsons, casting a half-apprehensive glance at the door. "They haven't been out today, and of course..." She had a habit of breaking off her sentences in the middle. The kitchen sink was full nearly to the brim with filthy green dishwater, which smelled worse than the cabbage. Winston knelt down and examined the angle joint of the pipe. He hated using his hands, and he hated bending down, which was always liable to start him coughing. Mrs. Parsons looked on helplessly. Of course, if Tom was home, he'd be put right in a moment, she said. He loves anything like that. He's ever so good with his hands, Tom is.
Oh, is he?
Parsons.
Why do you think she didn't finish her sentences?
Stopping herself from thinking.
I know that when I'm in public and I'm in a place where everybody's like, "Oh, isn't this great? Don't you think this about this?" There's no room for unpopular opinion. There's no room for discussion, so it just kind of makes you sink back into yourself. Or I'm with the friends from here, I just get speechless. I don't know what to say because everything is so backwards.
Yeah, what do you say if you don't want to lie? When you want
I just kind of blow your cheeks up with air and turn around, walk away, go home, take a nap.
to. Yeah, people don't want to hear. Well, everything is terrible, but I'm doing my best to try to make it better.
No, they'll call you a spy. Call you a cult leader.
Parsons was Winston's fellow employee at the Ministry of Truth. He was a fattish but active man of paralyzing stupidity, a mass of imbecile enthusiasms. One of those completely unquestioning... yeah. One of those completely unquestioning, devout drudges on whom, more even than on the thought police, the stability of the party depended. At 35, he had just been unwillingly evicted from the Youth League. And before graduating into the Youth League, he had managed to stay on in the spies for a year beyond the statutory age. At the ministry, he was employed in some subordinate post for which intelligence was not required. But on the other hand, he was a leading figure on the sports committee, and all the other committees engaged in organizing community hikes, spontaneous demonstrations, saving campaigns, and voluntary activities generally. He would inform you with quiet pride, between whiffs of his pipe, that he had put in an appearance at the community center every evening for the past 4 years. An empowering smell of sweat, a sort of unconscious testimony to the strenuousness of his life.
This doesn't apply really for Winston, but they all seem to not care for their self-care. That's something that they bring on the outside is, oh, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to be here, and if somebody is here, they're probably here to take me away.
Yeah. The apartment's a disaster. The two people living there don't care, and they don't care that they get seen.
And all their children are like, you're a thought. You're getting arrested.
Yeah, your kids are gonna narc on you if you...
Spoiler alert, doesn't somebody in this book get told on by their own child?
I think so. They were gonna vaporize it.
Oh, I also wanted to say that there's an idolization of people instead of an idolization of information. I think that's why Stephen Hawking was on The Simpsons. He has his own documentaries. Everybody knows him by his weird face, but they don't talk about his theories. They don't show his work. They just say, this is what we believe is right. Neil deGrasse, why is he doing anything? All he did was say that Pluto's too small to be a planet. He got to define how big a planet is. That's not science. That's just order of man nonsense. A lot of what Stephen Hawking did was just order of man type nonsense.
Yeah, what gave some of the people those power? You just get to decide what I consider an astral body.
I think it's because he was in a wheelchair. There's a scientist that was in a wheelchair. There was a scientist that was black, a scientist that was attractive, and a scientist that was Jewish. I think Brian Greene. And then there was some English guy who was just like a hunk and everybody listened to. They don't give the reasons behind their theories, so I don't trust their science. I need to look at it myself. And they suck.
Who's that one guy? Darren Brown.
Well, he's not a scientist. He's an illusionary.
Ooh. He just popped in my brain.
Oh.
Yeah, but he's not a scientist. Bill Nye. Was that one of the ones you mentioned?
No, because he's a science guy. He's not the scientific method is watching things for patterns and contradictions. All the people signing off, if we look at things, especially these days, there's a lot of people willing to sign off for things for money or agenda or opinion, or their sign off is not the scientific method, you know?
And their sign offs kill people. I don't want to put my life in anybody else's hands.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be responsible for anybody else's
And there
life.
isn't too much that we all have to do with all the numbers and all the this and all the that. There's a lot of just watching for patterns. Does this thing that they're studying fit the entire pattern of the universe? Or is it just they're just saying it's a random thing? Or are they saying that what was the connection between all those people? Who did what? Usually anything that I've read, they don't say specifically what time they were talking about this and that, or how they went back and revised things. And a lot of it just sounds like jargon that gets signed off for.
Oh, remember what was that bad article we were reading, or just spell the academic article? There's spelling error after spelling error.
There was that one from when the first Ronivirus stuff happened, where they were like, this is safe, this is this is that, just listing off things with poor grammar, and it was signed off. And there was like 12 people who were involved in this 12-word thing.
Farce.
Farce.
An overpowering smell of sweat, a sort of unconscious testimony to the strenuousness of his life, followed him about wherever he went, and even remained behind him after he had gone. "Have you got a spanner?" said Winston, fiddling with the nut on the angle joint. "A spanner," said Mrs. Parsons, immediately becoming invertebrate.
Why are you taking this route if you doubt the tenets of society to this extent? Not sure what that means. Which route, and what's the tenets of society?
The people who live there, maybe?
That's tenants,
Oh.
isn't it? I don't know. I don't know words sometimes. I know tenets are like words of like rules to live by, or
Guidelines.
like guidelines or things that have been established. I don't know what else we would do, but kind of just talk about our tenets.
To give reflection back into the world.
Yeah. Just like what Winston did when he was able to see more, Tom Seymour, in his head than he could before he started writing. He was like, I went to the thing, blah, 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 and then it activated some more memories. It's putting stuff into the system and having it come back at you, and it's the kneading of the dough that creates a pattern. Is entirely open source, so you think that they're...
Science is, it's the people's interpretation that they bring out and say what is.
Yeah. Science is open source because you could just go do any of the science you want depending on what kind of science you're doing, because sometimes you can't get access to materials either because they're illegal or you have to be part of some group to be trusted to obtain something like this, or it's expensive. But the corruption lies within the individual that doesn't see the patterns.
It's in the people. It's in the people. It's not the corruption lies there.
Oh,
Put it
yeah.
on the chart. It's
There's a difference between people stuff and what the self observes.
the science that's in the outside.
Mm-hmm.
People's interpretation is in the people past, people present.
Yeah. And that interpretation gets mixed up a lot because communication is a difficult thing that nobody is really trying to bring everybody together with. It's more like, if you don't understand these words, go to college and then use these words against other people.
Use the words that you're told to use.
Yeah. Instead of looking for the meaning behind the words. But corruption is everywhere. Everybody wants... I'm corrupted sometimes when I want something that is not good for anybody else. If I want a cigarette, and I'm standing in front of you, or I'm trying to narrow it down to what we're always talking about. That people have to understand themselves, and there's a time now to understand the self.
And then that in turn will help you understand the science, and it will help you understand the mistakes people made interpreting science.
Yeah. And a lot of science came from some dirty stuff too. Digging up dead bodies, hastily putting together what is that thing that when they got all that radiation poisoning because the guy was using a pen to... They were working on nuclear energy and he irresponsibly did something. I mean, is that corruption or is that being an idiot? But the fact of the matter is that we can see all these things. That's why when we take the people out of the equation and look at what is there in front of us first, we can start taking in some of that people data and going, oh, I don't know why they went that route, or things of that nature. How can we leave civilization? I would love to know, because I guess I would do it, but also that's not how really this works.
Well, unfortunately, we could leave, go out and be in the woods and be the most natural that we could be out of society, but there's only so much finite space. So the only route to go is, in order for us not to be obliterated by everybody's hate and stupidity, is to get them to change from being hateful and stupid.
Yeah.
So, and they're not living out in the woods, they're living here.
True story. Why we don't really want to get radicalized and go on shooting sprees.
It don't help the problem. It's just feeding that bad energy. It's not the solution.
Yeah. What facts are we not fact checking? Could you clue us in, I guess, so we can fact check, or we can come to the reasonable... We could talk about it.
Yeah.
It seems like you're playing the rules... playing by the rules of society. There aren't very many rules we play by.
We have to agree.
Things we can't escape.
Those things still have influence on us.
The rules of society in terms of being good to each other is an order found outside of human. So you could tell us about it, I guess. I mean, my data comes from observation over periods of time, and when there's a person who does something scientifically but then comes out and makes a contradiction and then avoids that contradiction, there is something else going on. There's plenty of, I mean, in Greece, ancient Greece, all science comes from somewhere. In ancient Greece, there was no corruption. You can't corrupt 1 + 1 is 2. You can't corrupt arguments, but what you can corrupt is giving something a language that doesn't allow everyone to understand it and then lording it over them. That, if that can't be seen, I mean, I would have to just go through everything and say, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. That's really up for the individual to see for themselves. I didn't say it's all lies. That would be ridiculous. I know up is down. I know that there is a formula for measuring things like gravity in respect to the mass that you're on and all that sort of stuff. All of it is true then? The things that we can prove, yeah. But things that we can't prove, it's...
This, you can't apply a generality to this. You have to take a look at every single situation.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things, I'm not going to say that, you know, how they, I don't know, the temperature of the sun is wrong. Because I don't know. I'm not going to, you know, say, let's go start a fight about it either, because I know I'm kept warm.
Yeah, gravity and stuff, believe. There's lots of that stuff. But, like, the things about boiling your food, the pasteurization is healthier for you.
And that's a science that directly affects us. There is a negative effect for boiling all of the food you eat. All of the nutrients are gone. There are certain points, certain temperatures that vitamins, minerals, whatever they're called, cannot withstand. And I know if I live in a world where nobody else looks at this, that there's something wrong. Everybody's getting sick, except for the people who are eating all the good food.
And it's not like we're just talking en masse. I used to be so lactose intolerant. And then I started drinking raw milk slowly.
Not raw milk, unboiled milk.
Unboiled.
Screw the word.
Fresh out the cow.
What's materialism? Knowing the temperature of the boiling points of things? Or was it when they dissipate?
When they change states of matter?
Yeah, when nutrients and minerals are destroyed.
Yeah, that chemical bond is broken at that state change.
And also, when you study things, it doesn't have to come from a book. The first person who observed something did not find it from a book. I think it's very pertinent to anything that I read in a book. I have to be able to reason with myself. Well, this is applied science, right? They tell us what to eat, and they make rules to enforce that food being treated a certain way that is wrong. Basically.
Yeah, and that wrong thing now.
Yeah, where does it
there
bleed
are rules
into?
There that if you want to sell it, you have to sell it in this very particular manner. Inspections, all this controlling stuff on someone's wrong opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Food is science because it gives us energy. Right?
Yeah, the amount of calories things provide you, the amount of kcals that it takes to burn those off, the science of your metabolism, how all your body parts work together.
Where does the generality of because humans liked it more that way? I wonder. I don't think we liked it more that way. I didn't like it more that way. People, if they realized what was going on, conflating everything with science. Science is life. Life is science. Everything can be measured. If it can be measured, it is science. There's another thing. Why would anyone allow someone to tell them what science is when science is just observation? If everybody told us what science is, nobody would be doing science. They would be reading about science.
Sciences came from philosophy, which was the study of...
We eat food for the nutrition. What else would we eat food for? If not because we need it. I wonder. And we need those... Why wouldn't surviving be science if it can be measured and we can also make things not survive? For instance, mosquitoes. Bill Gates does all that mosquito science stuff. It's so that certain things don't survive in them, or that those mosquitoes don't survive. What differentiates surviving from science? Here's the thing though, right? Because everything in your life can be measured. If it can be measured, science is observing the outside world. It's observing it for long periods of time to watch the measurements of what's going on, and also looking out for contradictions.
Finding its shape.
Finding the shape of a thing.
The shape, these
knowing what it is.
What it is, the attributes, how it exists, and all these different viewpoints.
Viewpoints are just supposed to be assisters.
Perspective. Past, present, future, from this person's perspective, from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. Science is observing the world around you and measuring it. Knowing what it's for. And if survival isn't science, why are there doctors? Well, the doctors might be science, but you gotta get to the root of it. Does that make any sense? It seems like there's a lot of ways that people define words and try to keep a stranglehold on them, but the scientific method is for science, right? What are you looking up? So, what is this? The internet says scientific method interplay between observation, experiment, and theory in science. It's...
So, first part, observation.
It's not, what do you mean random? If it applies to us, if we can observe it, if we can measure it, then it's to be measured. Science isn't just what anybody wants it to be, it's everything. Science, there's a science to love. Do you think beef should be? Well, that's complicated because I wish I could figure out something different, because animals they're living creatures. However, I don't think there should be a force to say, no, it's bad. We gotta find something better, and it has to be true, and it's not eating fucking grasshoppers, that's for sure.
It's not like we have everything. Everything's up for study.
The only thing that is not science is opinion. I like this. Well, even that could be kind of a science. It's the science of the self. What we're trying to do is put all of the science together, including the connection between a man and a woman. If we're studying, if we're observing, if we're testing theories, if we're experimenting, if we're watching patterns and contradictions, it's all science. Everything can be science as long as the biases are taken out and it's reflected on the outside world, not just opinion or men, man's present, man's past. Oh yeah, I think people eat things bad all the time because they don't really understand it. I was fed bad things as a child. And it was because my mother didn't have the time nor really the care to do much different. It was quick and it was easy. This saying, that means that the science is saying it's fine to eat things that are bad for you. Yes, aspartame. Aspartame is a bad thing. Vanillin is a bad thing. They say things that are not true about these things, that it has the same compounds, it has the same chemical makeup.
If it was the same thing, they would call it the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Vanilla is not the same chemical structure as vanillin. It's different.
Humans are not scientific, but scientists are humans, right?
Yeah.
So there is a way that you can blend being human and being scientific.
So maybe this: observation, research, hypothesize, test. All things that are.
I think that's
fits patterns. These things exist outside of ourselves. Analyze data and report conclusions. Those two are flawed human steps.
I think the problem lies because people are compartmentalizing themselves away from information that they can observe instead of reflecting it back on themselves and receiving that data as well. No. I'm not saying humans are bad and therefore science is bad. Science exists outside of humans insofar as hearing other people talk about science. You can observe the science yourself, and the science of whatever would exist without humans observing it. Before humans were here, it just was. Well, okay, so what... But wait, not all humans are the same. Not all humans think alike, but there are some things, like trying to find the science in living, that we can obtain. I don't know. What do you mean I'm not arguing? Can you help me then understand, and maybe I'm not understanding you and you're not understanding me? We could try. Because, I mean, I don't know how to say that humans do science more than humans do the science. They observe the science and they do the experiments, and it's not all humans,
and not everything they report back is outside. Things fit a pattern, and if you tell me something new and it fits outside the pattern.
And the pattern exists outside of us. So it's observable without...
And then I can question. You tell me something that follows the pattern. Okay. Makes logical sense. Explained it well. Everything's cool.
Well, what's logical sense? That's when you can see that observation over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's not that humans are bad. I think that there is somewhere that we can be that's better. If that makes sense. Does it make sense to you, or is what I'm saying making sense? That is what.
And being also, I think is important. Because you're being wrong doesn't mean you're being bad.
Mm-hmm.
I got a hard time with that.
Yeah,
a lot.
Being wrong isn't bad, but there's always a way to look for more. And if that space isn't there for more, then something is wrong because we don't know everything. We can't even get to the moon again. Tom Moon again. Well, who wrote the paper? I'm not sure what... Because we read often. You went to college for...
Yeah, I got a degree in engineering. I used to consider myself a pretty smart fellow.
There's just some things that we think fundamentally wrong about that we're trying to talk about. We're trying to find the words about. No, we think about it all the time. There's a lot of assumptions. Maybe if we take assumptions out of the argument, no, I'm not saying that I know everything is bullshit or not, but I always keep it away from my opinions before applying it to broader theories. If I don't understand something and I need to understand it, then there's time for seeking that. If it's something that there's plenty of stuff that I still don't really understand how. I've never made a transistor before, but I understand magnets, and I can watch magnets spin around each other when they're not sticking to each other and things of that. So what do you want me to prove wrong? I'm not sure. I think the way that it's done is wrong because I see a lot of things involved with it that is wrong. However, what's that? Oh, just dust?
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's... If I said it was all wrong, then I would probably agree with flat Earth or something, you know? This is all just a process of being and observing. It's not necessarily saying everything is wrong. I know that the Earth isn't flat. That's wrong, but I mean, there's a second opinion to everything, so something is going to be wrong out of all those things. That is not what I'm doing. Can you tell me what exactly that means? I'm also not trying to convince anybody.
No, you got the free will. You see the pattern, you say, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. If
Ask
we talk
questions.
about something specific, it's got to be if you just say I said all humans or all science, that's not true, because I can see the science that other people do, and I can do the simple ones like measure where the sun is in the morning and at night to get a general idea of the circumference of the Earth, for example. I wish there was some sort of way that there could be the overgeneralities are getting in the way of good conversation. When there's hard work to dismiss, I definitely dismiss it. A lot of what Stephen Hawking has said, there have been what would you call it when somebody's against that thing?
Opponents?
An opposing viewpoint that starts from somewhere else. And it fits more into the reality than just look at this crazy new thing. So, on formal logic can tell half of what you're saying is a false equivalency and they'll stop listening to you. A book on formal logic. So formal logic, let's start there, because the scientific method is a form of formal logic because it's the only thing that works. So is that wrong? Or is it because humans do the science? Or I'm not sure where the running around is. And you don't have to read a book on logic to know logic. That's to get your information from another human without putting it through that process yourself makes one adherent to all of it instead of knowing what is good about it and what isn't good about it.
Yeah, you're being told.
An explanation for what? What exactly is the explanation that you're looking for? An explanation to what? There's a proper way to have a conversation without jumping from all of these assumptions of what I'm saying to go read a book.
Hey, speaking of reading books, we can read a book. Where's the spot? There was a trampling of boots and another blast on the comb as the children charged into the living room. Mrs. Parsons brought the spanner. Winston let out the water and disgustedly removed the clot of human hair that had blocked up the pipe. He cleaned his fingers as best he could in the cold water from the tap and went back to the other room.
Well, we could do that. We could do that right now. I'm trying to understand the jumping around. Is there a place that can be started first? Right? There's... Oh, yay. I think the way everyone communicates is wrong. There is a certain way to communicate where something is asked or something is stated, and then you start from there. To say you think this of everything is not a good way to have a conversation.
Because that's not what the person said. Use the words that you were given.
There's an order that can happen, right?
Yeah.
Can you help me, husband? Because I've had to deal...
You start from the beginnings. And you get to... You can agree to go down the path. All right, this, then this, then this. And where you come up with a disagreement or a contradiction, that is where you start. So you got to start from the beginning.
Okay.
At what point I think you were following along, and then that's fine where the disagreements happened. So can you read something there, wife? I can't.
Because you didn't, you just talked around it. What is it?
Yeah. Well, what? We got to know that, and then we can address it.
We talked about that human and science is different. That's something that is so complicated in everyone's perception now and probably before that it needs a deeper dive, not just going on to you think this about everything. It doesn't make any sense. There's a looking for the answer that one is looking for, instead of listening and allowing my words to say what they mean. Because that's how questions happen. That's, if something didn't get narrowed, I don't understand. What the hell are you talking about? And we can work towards something instead of jump.
Up with your hands, yelled a savage voice. A handsome, tough-looking boy of 9, who had popped up from behind the table and was menacing him with a toy automatic pistol, while his small sister, about 2 years younger, made the same gesture with a fragment of wood.
I got a question, because this happens in 1984, right? In sort of a way. Say Winston wanted to tell someone what was wrong with Big Brother.
Like he wanted to, when he was having that little dude fantasy about O'Brien. He's like, I looked into his eyes and I knew that he knew.
Yeah.
I couldn't dare tell him, for the risk was too great.
How does he know? Because we know what happens between him and O'Brien at the end. So how did he just know? He didn't just know anything. What language could he have used besides thinking in his head? They've got the dictionary that tells them what everything means exactly, instead of humans coming together to explain what they mean when they say words. You have to think that it's this exactly, but it doesn't really work that way.
No. Both of them were dressed in...
You know, he also said that they would agree with us completely if it weren't for that we weren't doing science. And we said, there is a science, and we tried to speak the science. It said, well, that's not science, that's the scientific method. But the scientific method is science. Can we at least agree that the scientific method is science? Because if that's true, then we have to go back and revisit all of those conversations.
Yeah.
All of those conversations.
All of them. All conversation.
It's kind of it's a stupid way to think. If you're not looking for the understanding between two people and you just want to say you're talking in circles, that's everybody now. How do you not talk in circles when people in INGSOC are just, no, Big Brother, no, read the book.
Reach out. Are you trying to talk in a different way to reach the understanding? There's a pattern.
Nobody's gonna like you if you don't think exactly the way we do, and I'm not willing to understand how you think. There is only one way to think, and it's how I think. It's INGSOC think. It's stupid. And it's gross that nobody takes a single moment in time to try to fucking understand what someone is saying. And no jumping. Do people not know that jumping through a conversation to this and that and that and that is not conducive to communication? Is communication not science? Is that why everybody's so shit at it? There is a science. You fucking do the tests, you do the fucking patterns, you bring it out into the world, you try to see, you try to fucking communicate, and you keep the anger out of it, and you keep the stupid fucking words, like, literally. Literally is a basic filler word. Actually, basic filler word that gives nothing.
We were talking about that the other day there, wife.
I have to talk about it every day. Because everybody's so fucking stupid. That's fine. That's the 1984, and it's trial and error, and I will keep doing what the fuck I'm doing, and I will try to figure it out.
Well, keep discussing and keep learning, and life is steady.
Life is study, but apparently no, it's not. It's literally, science is literally everything outside the human, without taking a moment to think about how the human interacts, how they interfere. That's a bias. You're supposed to track your fucking bias when you do science, and observing something could change the fucking outcome. Your opinions could change the fucking outcome.
You don't understand.
But let's just keep talking about how I'm fucking right. Sorry.
Nah, it's true. There's right, wrong, no understanding.
Yeah. Literally look back, but I don't want to do the work with you. What the hell is human, then? If two people can't fucking talk to each other until it's all babble. It's all fucking babble. And you try to fucking find a person, people don't want to be found. That's the problem. They're so fucking stuck in this goddamn world where everything is defined fucking for them. Just like 1984. But nobody defined fucking angles, right, Winston? You had to figure that out yourself, and you did, but you still failed, because, spoiler.
Spoiler.
What a stupid and lazy way to communicate. Can we get someone who isn't stupid and lazy?
Hope so. Winston raised his hands above his head, but with an uneasy feeling, so vicious was the boy's demeanor that it was not altogether a game. "You're a traitor!" yelled the boy. "You're a thought criminal. You're your Asian spy. I'll shoot you. I'll vaporize you. I'll send you to the salt mines." What a nice kid.
Yeah.
Suddenly, they were both leaping around him, shouting, "Traitor!" and "Thought criminal!" The little girl imitating her brother in every movement. It was somehow slightly frightening. Like...
The fuck am I gonna learn from molecular biology? Do I need to know all the molecules to know how molecules operate? I'm not about that life.
No, the nature of things.
And the last time I checked, the way that molecules work, except for fucking neutrons, seems pretty accurate from what I've been able to... I'm telling you, neutrons are the babies of protons and electrons. Prove me wrong. Oh, but in this book, you could tell you're wrong because of in this book. I'm sorry, that's not the right way to go at it, but it's like... when you don't understand, when somebody doesn't understand how trying to understand someone works, that's talking in circles. Fuck yeah, it's talking in circles. I'm trying to understand what the hell you're saying. Oh, but the Illuminati and flat Earth. People are too stupid to create fucking Illuminati. It's just a bunch of rich people with guns and people who use those guns. The Illuminati's gonna get me. The CIA tries to make everybody stupid, but I'm gonna sit on Twitter, fucking do. Look at the trigs.
These waves never go like this.
And waves never move in a wave-like motion.
No up and down.
How fucking we gotta put that one up. I'm proud of that meme.
You can observe it. You can go to the ocean, watch the waves go up and down.
It's not about it to argue. Well, let's see, because this is what I want, right? I want a challenger, and a challenger wants to find information and not just bombard with what's wrong with what you're saying, right? Just like Sun Tzu, let the enemy defeat itself. So let me defeat myself, right? Challenge my understanding instead of, oh, go read a book, you know? Tell me why you believe in this. What does this mean? And let's talk about can we do that, husband, somehow together on the internet to try to understand something? That's too much on the spot. Maybe we'll just have to think about it later when we're kissing or fighting. I don't know. We'll figure it out when the cops come.
Yeah. Let's go kiss his wife.
Thank you, husband. Stupid appears where information isn't. There is a way to communicate with people to know exactly what they're saying, exactly what they mean, if there are questions asked, if there are rebuttals and you see the reaction of the people. But talking lazy with this literally shit, it's like you can watch. People who say literally are just angry. And when anger gets in the way of conversations, it doesn't matter what I say to a person, they won't hear it. It doesn't matter what they're saying, they're just trying to win something. I dare anybody to try to not win something, but win some understanding. I will give you my last $10 if you can win with understanding. If you can understand what I'm trying to say, if I can understand what you're trying to say. Sounds like a fair deal, right?
I think so.
$10 Amazon gift card to any Microsoft support.
Hopefully there's somebody out there. I'm married to you, and I'm never gonna win that $10.
No, you try to understand me now all the time, or try to understand the things that have to be understood to have a good relationship with yourself, with me, with our family, with the shit that exists outside of us. How is measuring not science? The distance between me and a bullet in the head from a cop depends on me not punching him in the face. For example, me not doing something that would lead him to hurt me. And maybe it's the stupidity like that that leads everybody to believe I could just go out and do whatever I want. That's crazy, that's chaos. Gotta take chaos out of the situation. Number one. First and first, mostly, chaos has gotta go. And I know the way that I talk, I'm trying, right? This is the second day we've been doing this, and being an asshole, basically, and talking in circles, blah, blah, blah. What kind of relationship can develop from that? It's always somebody is attacking me. Everybody thinks somebody is attacking them. And in reality, I guess everybody is trying to attack somebody. Where are the people who understand? Did they all kill themselves? Are they all just sitting in the dark writing notes, love letters to themselves or something? Or I don't know. That sucks, because I want. But it doesn't matter that I want. It doesn't matter that I want. Because I am always the enemy. I dare anybody to not see me as an enemy. Should we keep reading?
Yeah, let's keep reading, baby.
Okay.
This book is fascinating, and I love examining it, especially with you.
Yeah, it's nice to examine things when you have the fucking brain to do it.
It was somehow slightly frightening, like the gambling of tiger cubs which soon grow up into man-eaters. There was a sort of calculating ferocity in the boy's eye, a quite evident desire to hit or kick Winston, and a consciousness of being very nearly big enough to do so.
Check this out. What do these children remind you of? Anybody? Like
adults, they seem.
Yeah, but also, what's worse than an adult with a hatred for something or an anger about something?
Kids.
Yeah, because they got the energy to fucking do something about it, and they're even more stupid. So here's something in nature. From what I understand, venomous things, when they're teenagers, are more likely to get themselves hurt or die or use too much of their energy to attack instead of defend. Rattlesnakes, poisonous spiders. So instead of thinking about a situation and trying to focus on home and eggs and whatever, they end up getting crunched because they're just attacking whatever at will. I'm the big boy on campus getting eaten. Fucking whatever. That's not science, though. Observing that pattern in nature, because that's not science, so I should probably stop doing it.
Yeah, stop looking at stuff. Seeing patterns. Thinking.
Adolescents don't have hormones that end up getting them in trouble, right?
Yeah, they don't. They're not ever too horny to make a good decision.
Being like a 40-year-old, can you imagine 40-year-olds in a situation where they're like in school? You know, we're watching that fish tank thing with the autist kids. If there were 40-year-olds in there, do you think that they could expend enough energy or as much energy as those children to just make noise for no reason and it's ow my back or something? I remember, even not to bring science into humanity or anything, but I remember being a teenager as well, and I remember I told you about driving intent on finding a tree to run into.
Yeah.
That energy means something. We'll find out eventually. I don't know, because that time is gone. I'm not there to experience it in the present over here because it exists in the past, and I don't bring that past. If I brought my adolescent past into my present, I would not have the mental capacity to analyze myself as an adult existing as a child, or at one point existing as a child. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen anybody? Look at Jordan Peterson. He's 50-something, 60-something years old, crying on the internet,
saying, "Stay back, demons."
Stay back, demons, when he was trying to
get people to move in a better direction.
Mm-hmm. But you can watch the point of crumbling, and you can observe his rates of change. Maybe it's not science, but it is calculus. You can see the anger and the lack of self-control, and that's what adolescents have. A lack of self-control, which is observable in motherfucking nature. Mother Earth fucking nature. Sorry, laughing at my own stuff is so cringe. Am I right, fellow kids? Done. I'm ready.
Good. That was disappointing, but we got a good book, so.
And kids are supposed to be learning from their fucking parents. Where do kids learn how to be so stupid these days? How did they learn how to be so stupid back then as well? I still feel like there was forward progress because they all hung out with each other and all learned how to survive, but we live in a different time where we're moving into a future that is different from the future from 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was going with them. So they're destroying everything because they don't, I mean, fucking go read a book, go read Plato. Go understand how understanding is developed by an old white dude, if that's what you fucking want. But he's right. Plato is the best.
Oh, white dude? Is anybody saying Greeks?
Or maybe Socrates is the best.
Greeks ain't white.
Well, if they didn't wear so much fucking olive oil all the time, they wouldn't be so burnt. We're all white if we stay out of the sun. Except some of us, maybe. I don't know. Everybody black is just a burnt white person.
Hey, listen. What's his face is going to call the alien ship down to start eliminating white people.
Oh, no.
From the state of Islam. So we don't want to get them on the bad side.
Oh, yeah. Farrakhan.
Farrakhan.
Right? Shaka Farrakhan. The what, man? That's fun.
We'll do dumb things to the black man.
And there's more. I mean, if your arguments match the same arguments of crazy people, even just somebody that you don't personally like, oh shit, I sound like that person. What does that say? Don't bring science into it, but observing someone doing something that makes your life worse, if you do it to someone else when you don't intend to destroy everything, and you're doing it, maybe you should calculate your fucking life and try to move in a different direction. Anger is always the thing that fucks people up. That's why I also like what Sam Hyde is doing, because I know he's got to be angry, right, about things, but he's trying to do it in like the most professional way possible. And he's trying to spar with people. There was a video clip of him just punching the cabinets there. I think he wanted to like surprise the children there, but he punched the shit out of some cabinets with he was intent. Boxing gloves. He went in and just, they were still, I wouldn't be able to do it. So it was like, ooh, you know, it was intimidating. Those fucking little retarded kids.
That's a madhouse. An absolute madhouse.
I mean, having to talk to a prostitute about poop all over the place that you're recording, that's gotta be like, that's Big Brother. Except he doesn't have any, he told them not to throw poop everywhere. But aside from that, they love their little cage they're living in. They don't give a shit. $15 an hour to stare into fucking space and not have to brush your teeth because your mom isn't making you, and oh god.
He is the Joker. He is the real life fucking Joker.
Yeah. I wish I could convince him to help me use my anger to fix the world. I don't know how. They gotta go to school. I gotta give lessons. But these people, they think that I am like them. That there's just all this stupid stuff. Because they only see stupid stuff. In here, this is a problem with the present and the past. If you're not in control of both of them, if your axes, if your lines aren't... Ugh, that looked terrible. Hold on, let me do that again. I'm gonna forget what I talked about too here in a second. If you're not moving in the right direction, there's all of this influence that doesn't bother you. Was I talking about... I think I'm high.
What?
Do good, get good. Just do the good. Just do the good. Why does it have to be so difficult? Why do I have to develop a language to tell people not to be stupid? But it can happen. It can be taught. This is a thing that I know. I don't want to hear the dumb bullshit. You come to me. You come to me to understand something. And I will try to fucking... But it is hard. How long have we been able to communicate? We still have trouble communicating because the nature of communication is difficult. But you set up ground rules? Is that what we should do? Should we set rules? But then who the fuck is gonna care? Really, this is still just an experiment. Just like the fish tank.
That fishy angel. Oh, god damn it. I had a thought, and it has escaped me.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Do you want me to help?
Not dealing with the rules. Because we don't have fucking rules.
Oh my goodness, fucking rules.
Like our argument for, or our position, our opinion that eating unboiled food is better for you than eating boiled food. That's our stance.
Mm-hmm.
What that is the basis of is we eat that every day and we feel better than we did. So,
and also we got to take into account, because nobody fucking does, every individual needs to have control over what they do to their body. That doesn't mean forcing other people to do things to their body for free. However, what are you looking at?
just look, the wife.
Oh, you always do these nervous eyes.
Sorry, baby.
We're never gonna get to freaking read. Maybe we should just... I don't know. What do you want? What do you want to do?
I would like to try to read a little bit, wife.
The problem with... We didn't finish the other thing. The problem with the law of man is that he's too stupid. This lady didn't understand that people were stupider before us. We have the capability to be smarter than anybody that's ever existed. And that's not knowing everything, but being aware of the self is one of the most important things. That's what gets you into good situations. That's what they used to call street smart. But now it's just
people who are good at things, have understanding in those areas. Athletes, they may not know some of the things about themselves, but the part of themselves that they get to know really well is their bodies.
You know where they fuck up, though? We were talking about the chance that someone will miss a successful shot based on how many times that they were set, like the likelihood that a hockey player would bung up the next goal depends on how well he did the previous one, how close it was, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they're put on these spots, or basketball, when they're making that dunk by themselves and nobody's interfering with them, now they're in their head. If they can stay out of their head and just be this machine, they're still gonna have to learn about who they are, where they fail because of what's going on in their life. They're always battling it to go away instead of understanding it. I would imagine that's why Kobe Bryant fell into a mountain.
So, and the ones that were really good, they use those moments to define more. They observe more.
Mm-hmm. Tom observed more.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
This is hurting.
It's time for people to understand us instead of us trying to understand them. It's like, come to me. What did I with you? I was like, you have to come to me if you love me. If you say that you will, what? Say that you'll hear what I have to say and we can talk about it, and you disappear and get angry, then you have not held up your end of the bargain. So is it my fault for having an issue to begin with? Even though you did not allow for that space to see if it is my fault. There's always a way to communicate. And this is proof positive that people believe that there's no way to communicate except their way, except what they have, this group think. There was a lot of corruption. If there's corruption somewhere, and I know about the corruption, I don't give a shit what Stephen Hawking did. You know? I know that they wanted to put him in the pop culture, and I see that other people are put in the pop culture, and I have heard the laments of people who, well, Stephen Hawking is more famous than me, so my theory never got approved. You don't need to read a paper to hear that, because you don't get to read their fucking paper. Follow the corruption, not the fucking stupid shit you don't know. Go read a book on molecular. Go touch grass. I don't know what grass feels like. It kind of looks like the future, though.
Yeah.
That should be on a t-shirt. Offensive children don't care for self-care. Red tape. I would wear it.
I would too.
You would only do it because you love me. You would hate yourself in it. You would.
I don't know.
You would go to the bathroom so much to just cry. that I would be all alone all day.
This pink and blue thing is kind of giving me that 90s vibe.
Yeah, I like that too. I hear music. I think it's just a fan. Or maybe it's my thoughts. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe mental illness is real. Is real?
Oh,
Israel is real.
Ooh.
That should be on a t-shirt.
I like that.
Or on a Twitter.
Or on a Twitter.
Tweet, little birdies. I wonder how entertaining it is for anybody else to listen to me try to talk about something with someone and get fucking nowhere. But try. Do the efforts ever come, I wonder?
Alright, so are we ready to try this reading again?
Yeah.
Not too flustered to go on?
No. I'm just thinking, because I try to reason with their unreasoning. And I don't know if I'm doing it well enough. I don't know exactly where to strike yet. When to start saying, listen here, you stupid butthole. You know shit about shit. So take a smoke break, come back, and start asking questions instead of filling your words up with nothing relevant at all. Or nothing with information, nothing. You're not even relevant.
I may go back and read the conversation and some of it because
Okay.
I didn't get a lot of the stuff. But
I don't know how to approach it. Like, do I just read the whole thing? Like, all the words? Read all the words while they happen and then try to think about something? That's a lot of time.
it is a lot of time.
I should. Josie5433 says, thank you for the donation of lots of fucking wasted time. People don't understand. They talk about what they do all the time. And once you see it, it's devastating. It's hilarious, and then it's devastating when you're like, oh shit, I'm all alone. I'm hoping that other people that feel alone with us.
We're here promoting, doing good things.
Mm-hmm.
Just good stuff. Just good stuff. And someone got mad and left.
Mm-hmm.
That's retarded.
Yeah. Well, like, they're just looking for what they want. They're not looking to be a part of us. We're a culture. That's the problem. That there is a lot of culture that needs to be sacrificed in order to fit our culture. However, our culture turns into straight fucking math, science, and wisdom. And whatever's funny along the way, good. Whatever's bad along the way, guess what? It can be figured out. Everybody can talk. But how do we say shit like that? How do we make it? I don't want to play a fucking role because that's too much brain energy that I need to understand all the things that are going on around me at once. I talk as if someone's listening to me, and maybe that's the problem. Because then, all of a sudden, they're not. As soon as they get to this point of no return, I guess. That's the way it seems, anyway. when I take the time to appease them, I already am trying to just convince them that there's something to be known more than what the frick they know. I'm sorry if that sounds fucking condescending, but this is a new thing. You want to fucking praise Stephen Hawking back then in the past for finding something new, but you don't want to look for anybody looking for something fucking new, and you're certainly not doing it yourself because you're on the fucking internet. And that's stupid. What, do I gotta be in a wheelchair? I gotta go to fucking Oxford?
You gotta make a book, apparently.
What would happen if Stephen Hawking didn't get rich and famous? What kind of cool scooter would he have without a bunch of money? Was he buried in a scooter?
They just sound beep.
I am dead. Somebody types it in for him. I am dead. What's really like, why not? Why you gotta be so serious about people too? Like, first, if anybody wants to say anything smart about someone, first you gotta have a joke about them. Joe Rogan knows a lot of stuff. Well, when's the time he didn't know stuff? When he was humping a fucking chair, or like, I don't know. That was just off the cuff, and I'm not an improv comedian, so it's not my specialty. I didn't write a book, and I didn't read a book, so. Life isn't study or whatever. Go read a book. Go live life. Go look at this for a second. It's an alternative fucking view.
Oh, the thing I was saying earlier, I don't think I finished it. You kind of brought it back. If we said this thing about our beliefs because of what we observe, and we base it upon these things, and we do it. So that's our whole with our observation, and we've done the act. Do the act. Do our experiment. Do the scientific method. Cut that crap out of your life.
Well, how do we? Okay, I should have not cut you off. How do we do it? Like, we gotta maybe advertise like that. Like, we're not. Hey, we're not fucking around. I know you don't fucking believe me, so. I don't know how to lure you in, but hey, you're stupid. Come here and not be stupid. Or the gentle approach hasn't worked. The aggressive approach hasn't worked. Trying to find people to hate watch me. And they're still so stupid and lazy, they can't even do that.
Yeah.
But what do I do for you? How do I corral people like I had to corral you? Maybe I'm the problem, right?
No, wife. You are the piece that will start shifting us towards a better, brighter future.
At least for us. What else is there? Who?
There ain't nobody looking forward to the future. Just like here, Winston. I'm gonna write it for the future.
If we had the money and influence to back us up, say Nathan For You type of situation, he's gonna make everyone believe that we know what we're saying, because all he needs to do is give us the money to do the things and the eyes watching and his approval or something, Start a flock of sheep in our direction just to learn. And we basically already have a format that could be taught in school.
Idea, because you said Nathan. what he hires actors all the time in his little shows. He has hired them to be stalkers.
And if anybody says you're cheating the system, right? It's like you followed and you listened. You're like, somebody thinks this is interesting, so I think this is interesting.
Hire people to be actors. You have to play a student in school, but you gotta live this. So you're gonna have to go to these classes. These classes are gonna be taught by us.
Oh shit!
We're gonna have to get in the mindset, and we're gonna test them. Are you in the mindset?
Oh, husband, and you know, not for nothing, but that fish tank show had a whole bunch of chairs, kid learning lesson fucking chairs in that one fat guy's bedroom.
Yeah.
You remember they're just fucking stacked on the life. That's what we need. Can we be the season 3 of Fish Tank and watch the fucking chaos ensue? What if we wrote something that fit? At least. I'm sure he would never turn down a good opportunity if it gets in his face. Because people are stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think we could figure one out right now and just send him this because we're lazy?
Not flashy enough.
Not flashy enough. I don't think he gives a shit about the same flashiness he gives other people. He's talking to the retards. He's trying to get people's attention. And now he's talking to retards because those are the only ones that are listening. I'm sure there are some people. We listen to him. We're not fucking retarded, are we? We don't listen to Ethan and Ela, so that says something. We don't follow the FBI on Instagram.
Yeah.
Definitely not. We're definitely not in the
I have
CIA.
cut back so much on my Kim Kardashian news. Like
Oh. Why was that even in your brain? It's so hard for me
listening to dumb things.
Yeah, but
Ethan and Ela. And I figured I'd try to do something just as dumb.
But you went there. Is she that much in the news that it's just a default to go to? That's why I have problems always making jokes, because I can't think of people to put in those jokes too. This is improv.
You block off that part of the fucking people present. Who gives a shit?
I don't give a shit, and that's not a problem, but that's everyone else's problem. Why do you respect these fucking idiots that shocked gorillas to prove electricity or whatever? It's like, fine, they did it, let's move on. Ooh. Like a big And they were all spiteful. What people do reflect who they are, reflect where brain stuff comes from. It's like, that's literally what science is, to separate human and science. No, the fuck it isn't. You're a human doing science. That's like separating science and the scientific method. I wish there was like an age thing so I could see literally how old people are, so I can treat them literally the way they should be treated given their age and given my age and experience. And why I'm talking to them like that. Stupid kid eating tricks. Cheerios is better for you. It's good for your heart. Cholesterol free.
You can make
Basically.
make it as sweet as you want with unboiled milk too. Tastes better.
Just boil your milk, drink your fluoride, fucking buy whey pro. Listen to this, you stupid idiot that may be listening. I'm sorry. Whey protein is the stuff that gets separated from milk when they make motherfucking cheese. You are being fooled into buying a fucking expensive product that has nothing because they still fucking boiled it! Oh, $30! We get fucking milk for $6 a gallon and we still bitch that it's too expensive. But you can survive on it. You don't need fucking anything else. Your shit will be a little yellow and you should probably eat some bread or some rice or something. And there's probably other things, other places, but that's the universe gave us a forever titty. You hear me? What do babies fucking drink? Titty milk. What do humans fucking drink? Titty milk. There is a pattern in the fucking universe. And nobody's taking advantage of it. No, you can't do tests. You're not fucking Stephen Hawking. Ugh.
You don't got a book.
You don't got a book. I have a million books that I all hate, and I write why I hate them inside of it.
Sometimes
Sometimes I argue with the people. My favorite book is a book about the hearings after World War I. That's how shit books are. All these fucking stupid fantasy stories, I tear them apart with drills and try to make jewelry boxes out of them. That's what I mean to do before they set on fire and spin out of control and stuff. I make paper with that paper. I did before we had to do this stupid bullshit. And all the fact books don't have facts. Everything is conjecture. Everything is rumination. And you can watch the rest of it come to logical conclusions and not come to logical conclusions. You can see where someone skipped a beat and you have lots of questions and they just keep gathering up. But let's not ask questions. Let's just literally believe Stephen Hawking. It's fine. I'll never give up on you. Feel free to start believing in me, motherfucker. Anytime now, maybe, whenever. You see, the problem is you're a woman and you're a stupid bitch. See, the problem is I don't want to fucking listen to nobody. See, the problem is I'm not looking to change my fucking life. See, the problem is... Also, one of our problems, how do we tell people now that we are problem solvers?
We show it in a very aggressive way. We kick them. Yeah.
How?
We're Bruce Lee.
That is not... I would have to be paid so much money that the ego just fucking slides off my shoulders.
Like poop.
No! Just like fucking shit. Stupid fucking shit. Stupid, ugly, smelly... I'm getting horny for some reason.
Just think about that hooker.
Oh, no. I was thinking about you, husband. I was thinking about some of the things we've done recently. Opening our hearts fucking scientifically. If that's even possible. Who knew that you could be so far away from your own stupid, idiot, retarded ass anger that you could think a little bit more? Me think less than you? Please. Jibba, please. I could just throw myself off a building like a Japanese girl. That always feels... So why don't you just kill yourself? Why don't you just go into the wild? What fucking respect do you have for society? The same society that fucking makes your life hell. They make your life hell and you don't even fucking know why. You don't know how. You just know you're angry, and you're gonna take it out on your mom, and you're gonna take it out on yourself. You're gonna cut your fucking penis off. You're gonna drown yourself in fucking video games. You're gonna drown yourself in porn. You're gonna go on 4chan. You're gonna, hey guys, I'm not really here for advice, but I want to tell everybody what a miserable cunt I am, because it feeds the same negative energy that gets me off at night. They're all just looking at coom.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, what do we do now? Now that I just coomed myself. Should we read a little bit, or should we just
I think
call this a wash and start chapter 2 again? Or we'll just recap. Fucking Winston went into a gross house.
Rechaptering.
What does that mean? That nobody gives a shit. Let's go. Anybody who talks dumbass shit about fucking how great Stephen Hawking is, or how great fucking molecular biology is, let's go see how fucking clean their house is. Let's go see how many tissues are in the fucking garbage. Let's not do
How
that.
many rental
It's probably-
girlfriends do they have?
They could be rich and just talking shit all. No, I think everybody's stupid. I don't know what they look like. Recalibrating.
Alright, I think we're gonna end it.
Okay.
I love you, wife.
I
Good.
love you, husband.
This will be a good experience because we're gonna learn from it.
I'm gonna send it to Sam Hyde, see if he listens to it. Do you think I'm funny, Sam?
Do you hear me? Guess what? You're gonna brain come.
That was real smooth.
Love you, baby.
I love you.
Bye.